Hello, and we are back. This is Christy with Foresting the Soul, and I'm here with my fantastic father, Robert Peterson, and
Hello.
we've on hiatus for a few months.
Several months.
Yeah. Busy life, right? Lots of things.
When did Curtis have his accident?
Oh yeah, that's right. One of the biggest things I think we may have spoken about me going to Peru on one of our last episodes. I went to Peru and then came back, and 10 days later my husband had a pretty rough motorcycle accident. And so life got a little weird for a while. And then we had Dad needed to prove what an incredible survivalist he is, although he'll tell you a different story about his take on why he has survived death so many times. We thought we were done with this, story that he's been telling for the most part as far as all the incidents, but yet we have another one. So yeah, a lot has happened since then. So
yes.
We're just now getting ready, able to reconvene. And for those of you who are just now joining us, I've been helping Dad tell his story. He has an incredible story of so many impactful life journeys. I mean, every phase or season is a chapter, but essentially the book title is "This Is Not Who I Am: My Journey from 3D to 5D." And so we found that the easiest way it is to tell the story is to do it in a podcast form so that we can easily transcribe it and then work with the text.
Yeah.
Because this is Dad's story. I'm just trying to get an easy way to get it into text format for you, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, we have been having a lot of fun doing it, and I am excited to be sitting at the coffee table or the kitchen table again with you, Dad, and
it's great to be here
and picking this back up, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just kind of, you ready to dive into it?
Sure.
Okay. So it was about mid July, because I think we just had some pretty bad tree damage.
Yeah.
I remember when we got back from Alaska, it was a disaster area around here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so that's kind of what was going on. You were hard at it, getting the trees taken care of.
Yeah, I have 5 sweet gum trees. They're about a little over 50 feet in the air. And we got a downrush from the weather and just took the tops out of the trees, and some of the branches were 6 inches in diameter. I'm talking huge, and they just covered our lawn, completely covered our lawn. And so I went about hooking onto them with a mower and dragging them out to what would be a burn pile so we can burn them. And because of previous congestive heart failure, my cardiologist told me that I needed to only consume 1,500 milliliters, 1.5 liters of water a day. Well, it was July, like you said, and it was a hot July.
Mm-hmm, it was.
And I didn't take into consideration how much I was sweating, and therefore needed more than 1.5 liters. And hours into this, it was a disaster area. One of the branches broke off and popped our line, electric line going out to our barn. Anyway, it was a mess, and I had to get it cleaned up so the grass didn't grow up through it.
Yep.
so I was getting right with it, and I started getting heat exhaustion. And I could tell that because my skin was clammy, and I could tell that I wasn't thinking straight. I completed the deal with the branches. My wife, Marilyn, she helped me a lot with that. And then I started in the house, and I don't hardly recall anything after that.
Can we pause right there for just a second?
Yeah.
So I don't think we've mentioned yet that you landed yourself in ICU once again. And this time it was for like 5 days.
Yep.
For a total of what, 10-day stay?
10-day stay.
Over a tick bite.
Over a tick bite.
Over a tick bite.
Actually 30.
30 tick bite.
Yeah.
Continue. You're delirious, and I know you're delirious.
Yeah.
And I know you're delirious because there was this funny little right, and the family, because you're over here trying to communicate, saying where you're going to, you text me, you say you're going into ICU on Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
And then you're telling mom, no, don't tell anybody, it'll until we know what's going on. Don't worry the girls.
That's right. That's exactly right.
You don't know what the hell you're saying from 1 minute to the next, We don't know this. We don't know that's actually what's going on.
Right.
And you're stumbling into ER.
Yep. Stumbled into ER, and they stripped me down, and this is what I'm told, because I don't recall it, but they took 30 ticks off me.
Okay, hold up. This is good that we're conversing about this like this, because if they took 30 ticks off of you in the ER, and that was on Tuesday?
Yeah, I believe it was a Tuesday.
Then why did they not start you on tick meds until Friday?
That I can't tell you.
And you know why the tick meds even came into play, right?
Yeah, it wasn't for you.
Well, it was not for me. It was doctor down in Arkansas, our friend down in Arkansas. He was like, he's an ER doc, and he's like, if anybody comes in here complaining of tick bites at all, like, or not tick bites, or just these symptoms that you were having and have been working outside for a length of time, and and then maybe have picked a tick, especially if they've seen them, but they immediately start them on the medication. I forget the name of it, but the medication to go ahead and start treating that until they know exactly which strand of tick-borne illness it is. And of course, as you and I both know, it takes a while, like a week and a half, I think is what it was, until they got your results back to
it was about a week.
Confirm that it ended up being ehrlichiosis.
Yeah. From a Texas white star
that's
tick.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I would like to know more information about that.
I would too. I would too.
Okay, so they pull 30 ticks off of you, and
I went into ICU with a.
What were your symptoms right then?
Hurt all over.
Yeah. Oh God, it's painful.
Yeah, I was.
Oh my God, it's painful. Ehrlichiosis is painful.
Yeah, you can just push on your muscle and it hurts.
Yeah.
It's incredible how painful it is. But they were concerned about my kidneys, and so they put a catheter in me, and they measured my input and they measured my output, and eventually my output was decreasing below my input, and therefore they were concerned about my kidneys, and they did an ultrasound of my kidneys, and they found that my kidneys were failing from a tick bite.
Yep.
If I would recommend anybody if they come in out of grass, to check yourself. Now, here's the caveat. A pharmacist once told me that if you take an extreme amount of B vitamins, multi-B vitamins, that ticks and chiggers and mosquitoes will run away from you, which is basically true. It's happened all my life. But this time it didn't. Mm-hmm. So if you think that you're immune to a tick bite, you're not.
Yeah. Yeah. And you eat a shit ton of garlic.
Huh?
And you eat a shit ton of garlic.
I do eat a lot of garlic.
Your breath is always like you just got walked out of Nana's. Nana's restaurant eating some garlic bread. I love that garlic bread.
Yeah.
Makes me want to go get some. No, not really. Anyway, go ahead.
So in the process, I was completely out of my head.
So what did your fever spike at?
I never knew.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I heard it was 105. So when I got the early bird call at like 5:30 in the morning Friday, so I had come to see you. You texted me Tuesday, said you weren't feeling very well. Texted me Wednesday, said going into ICU. That's when I'm like, oh shit, right?
Yeah.
So that's when I come up Friday or Wednesday and see you that night, and you were still in ICU. And she just said he's been a little delirious, but they're getting his blood pressure leveled out. He's seems well enough to go down to a lower floor. So I'm walking in there like, okay, that's good news. You guys are, again, you guys are the doctors and everybody, you know what's best, right? And I'm going to fill in the blanks here because you don't remember.
I don't. Yeah. I don't remember seeing you in the ICU.
Oh my God. Well, yeah, you won't. I'm glad I recorded the whole conversation because it's hilarious. You're going to get a kick out of it. But for me, it was just like, I don't know what to say to you, for one, because you were shivering like crazy and you weren't making any sense in conversation, and it was just bizarre. You were delirious.
Well, Marilyn told me that they give me a pill and it hung on my lip, and I just sat there in a stupor, and they had to force the pill down me.
Well, that's what makes me wonder, because I wonder when they started giving you the pain meds, the oxycodone.
I don't know.
Which was not asked for either. That was the most bizarre. Like, it was just that other indicator for me that we have got to stay on top of our health, and if we're having health conditions, like ongoing chronic conditions that need attention all the time,
your body's telling you something. It's
that, but it's also, you need a health advocate.
True.
You need somebody that is keeping track of the hospital, because I have seen so much through this last year with you that it qualifies as malpractice.
Yeah.
And you have to be paying attention. But yeah, I mean, so back to the story is, I see you Wednesday night. They're getting ready to send you to a lower floor. Thumbs up. All seems like it's going better. Okay, great. Like, I'm, pop in, say goodbye again. I'll see you tomorrow morning, Dad. Okay, bye, Good, great. Off. But we're on the up and up. And then Thursday, I come back, and in the morning before work, and you're laying in bed. You are totally incoherent. You have pushed your sheet off of you, and there's like a wrapping around. It looks like you're wearing a diaper, maybe, but it's like cloth. Like, just, it was, I don't know about that. And then, but you didn't know I was there. You were just oblivious.
I was oblivious.
And so the nurse comes in, and I'm like, wait, like, this is a total stark difference from yesterday evening to now. why is he like this? Is literally what I did. I'm like, why is he like this? And I'm, using my arm and gesturing toward the bed and up and down the bed. And she's like, well, it's probably, he's just the fever. We're trying to get the fever under control. And, and nothing has been said to me about a tick bite, at all. And at this point, and then she says, it could be the, was it her? Yeah. Was it the nurse that said it? Or was it the doctor? It might have been the nurse. And then I started the conversation got a little direct, a little assertive. And then I think the doctor overheard that and started walking, or maybe was doing his rounds and was coming in anyway. But I was like, why is he on oxycodone? She said, well, for the pain, I was like, no, he's been sober for 3 years from alcohol, from opioids, from all of that. Why did you choose to give him that? And then at that point, I think is when the doctor was walking up, and he's like, what can I do? And he goes into the chart and, realizes, or doesn't find it. No, doesn't find it. He, makes the explanation that, there are charts and charts and charts of notes, but then there's also that I guess your notes hadn't made it over from Mercy yet into their system.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That was supposed to have been done.
Well, it hasn't been. So, he said I had no way of knowing. Okay, I get that, but why put somebody directly on an opioid in the hospital for pain? I get that, but when you're having a really, really high fever, and they were aware, there's an infection of some kind in the body. We're trying to figure that out, and they did blood.
After
everything.
They pulled 30 ticks off me.
That's the thing. That's, as we're sitting here talking, this is the first realization, because I thought they didn't find the ticks until you got up into ICU. And after, because that was Thursday, whenever you were totally looped out on narcotics. And so I'm pitching a little bit of a fit here. They're pulling you from that immediately. And then, so from there, I go to work, we're watching things. And then at 5:30 Friday morning, the next day, is when I get the call that your fever had gone to 105. And they were putting you in ICU. And so, it was an all hands on deck from the family. I think we kind of annoyed some of the people in ICU. Please forgive us. But, it was honestly traumatic to watch, because you were so feverish. And I can relate from the standpoint of pain, because that ehrlichiosis infection is no joke.
Yeah.
It is no joke.
You hurt all
that
over.
That was so whenever I got bit, and then 2 days later, and the thing about ehrlichiosis, you're going to know between the first day you're bit until up to a couple weeks. There's a window, but it's a short window. So you're going to know with that shit pretty fast. And it was I posted as when Facebook was early, and I posted on Facebook, I got bit by a tick, and I feel like I have the flu, but it's really bad flu, is the way I explained it.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
And of course, all my friends are get to the hospital now. I'm glad I did, because they were able to do that. But so they didn't even do that, though. So you're going back into ICU, 105 temperature, and they're doing all of this stuff. They're trying to get, a PICC line in you. They're trying to get all this, and you are in a respirator. They've got you on oxygen, and you're just uncomfortable. You're scared. It looked like you're delirious. You're and Angela and Mom and I are trying to just get your eye contact. Just look at us. It's okay. It's okay. Calm down, so they can do what they need to do. But you were moving around so much that they couldn't, it was hold them down, And so there was at one point I actually went over, was holding your hand. Things kind of cleared out a little bit. It was okay for me to kind of walk over by the bed. and I held your hand, and that was soothing. You held, and so we knew that holding your hand and giving you some kind of touch from us, one of us would help with that. And so then like he was able, in that case, holding your hand and soothing you, they were able to actually do the blood draw or whatever it was they were trying to do, but that lasted from well into getting close to the noon hour. You were just uncomfortable. I mean, they got you settled, and then they had you on an ice pad trying to get your temperature down.
I don't remember any of that.
Yeah. And then they they monitored you very well. It was the care, but the thing about it though that gets me is it wasn't until that morning, and it wasn't until 6:30, close to 7ish. It was around, because it was shift change was happening, and the doctors that had just come on shift knew nothing about your case, but were kind of talking to some of us about it. And I was like, at this point, I had a conversation with Chris from Arkansas, and I relayed that to them. I was like, have you guys checked tick-borne illness? Like, I have a friend who's a doctor, ER doctor down in Arkansas, and they say immediately to put him on
amoxicillin?
No, I knew that would escape me right now, but anyway, there's a medication that is just kind of the go-to, and so I threw that out there, and it was like they were hearing that for the first time. It was like, and that's when they finally started you on that particular medicine.
Wow.
It was Friday, but you came in Tuesday where they picked 30 ticks off of you in the ER.
Don't make sense.
That doesn't make any sense. So, moving on. That is, so you're in ER, in ICU, and then, getting the fever down, really just watching you closely, and then you finally are able to get to another floor and, get out of there.
It scared me whenever they told me that my kidneys are shutting down.
Oh, that was scary. There was also liver issues. Like all your organs were affected. Your heart, your liver, your kidneys, all of it. Your brain.
My brain.
You were slow. You couldn't remember.
I was messed up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was scary.
It affected me more than the cardiac.
Really?
Yeah.
From a what? From a physical or a mental standpoint?
I guess a mental standpoint, because I'd have to say a mental standpoint, and the reason why I say a mental standpoint is because I never really completely lost my awareness.
Oh, right.
Before with the congestive heart failure.
Yeah.
But with the tick bites, I don't remember hardly anything. Like you're talking about ice put me in an ice bed. Mm-hmm. I don't remember that at all.
I ran your bars once. Do you remember that?
Nope.
Wow. Yeah, I ran your bars, massaged your head a little bit because you were having a headache. It was when you were just starting to come out of it.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
See, this is all news to me.
Wow.
Y'all are getting the first here.
They've had a lot of this, even in the beginning, like, oh yeah, really? Oh my goodness. Yeah, no, it was traumatic. Naya was there. Clint Claybaker was there.
I don't remember Clint.
Yeah, we were all gathered in ICU. It freaked Naya out a little bit seeing you in ICU. It was serious business. Serious business. It was almost like what you would witness whenever someone's trying to save someone's life. And it's all hands on deck in the ICU unit.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, from a tick bite.
From a tick bite.
Yeah.
Well, 30 tick bites.
30, yeah.
Of course, we don't know how many of them
were actually the
Texas
Lone
White Star.
Yeah.
But, yeah, then they did the test on the, I guess it was my blood. I'm not sure how they determined that's what it was.
Blood test. Yeah, so they went ahead and started you on, is it doxycycline?
Yes, that's it.
Okay. And then that was the treatment, and just keep tending to your fever. It had come down all the way, but keeping an eye on it and keeping an eye on your heart.
That would have probably never happened if I'd had the proper antibiotic whenever I first got out of the emergency room.
Yeah. None of that would. That's additional stress that wasn't necessary. It's the same exact thing that happened at the other hospital.
Yeah. Two different hospitals. Acting the same way. Practicing medicine.
Practicing. Yeah, they're practicing. There's so much around that topic we could get into. It's our medical staff are overworked and underpaid, and they're just as human as we are. And I think that they, and a lot of times, are victims to the system. Do I believe that there are the physicians that like to play God and not listen to their patients, who actually listen to their damn bodies and can tell you things that are happening that maybe you need to hear and listen to? Yeah. I do believe that exists. It's like the yin and the yang, it's the both sides of the coin. It's the all sides of the apple. It's the there's no right or wrong or good or bad.
Right.
It's just is. And how we respond to whatever it is.
Yeah.
You've done such a great job of being an example of that for me.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
I've found in my life that there is no good and there is no bad. There's just direction. If you think about it, the good things in your life that happen change your direction. The bad things in your life that happen change your direction. So there really isn't a good or a bad. It's just change in direction. If you're observant and aware enough to take advantage of it.
That's the thing, is the awareness.
Everything goes down to the awareness.
It's the awareness, but then it's the courage to take action once you have the awareness.
True. That's very true.
Which I personally believe is why there is such an epidemic of addiction in our society, because that's what we use
to escape,
to quiet the voice inside our head that tells us, you're aware of that. What are you going to do about it?
Yep. Exactly.
Shh, I'm going to have a glass of wine about it, bitch. Shut up. Right?
Right. That's what happens.
So, okay, let's jump back to tick conversation. You get out of the hospital, you go home, you start recovering. They have you in rehab 3 days a week.
Yep. Monday,
Wednesday, Friday.
Yep.
And you're doing great. Time and struggles with ticks, or maybe wants to go hiking but is deathly terrified of these kinds of stories, right? Let's be honest. And doesn't want to, chooses not to enjoy beautiful nature because of that. What would you say to that person?
I would say you're cheating yourself out of life.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
You're just cheating yourself out of life. You just do what you are going to do, and then take the extreme measures of having somebody check you all over for ticks, because sometimes they get into little crevices that you can't see.
That's right. I mean, what would you describe as an extreme measure? So like long sleeve shirts that are tight around the wrist, or like, what would you suggest as a precaution? I mean, some people are afraid of using products that contain DEET. because it's not necessarily good for you. You're absorbing all that poison. So what would you suggest?
That's what I don't use is any kind of a spray. I don't like the smell of it. The smell of it tells me that it's not good for you. And tight clothes around the areas that a tick can come in at, like for instance your ankles, your wrists, like you say,
neck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I tell you, I was at an event recently, and there were seed ticks, and they're small, tiny little suckers.
Can't hardly see them.
You can barely see them, and if you have freckles or little moles of any kind, they blend right in as if they belong there. And I was picking them out of so many places.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're right. If you don't have someone also that, you can be like, hey.
Yeah.
Can I put my feet in the stirrups for you? Right? Like, no. But no, that's true. And I did happen to look up before our episode. I wanted to do a little research, and I found some information. John Hopkins Medicine Center on Lyme disease research. Like, there's a lot of actual tick-borne illnesses that you can get.
Yep.
Lyme disease is another big one. And I know that there's a lot of people right now dealing with alpha-gal, which is this whole thing where you can no longer eat anything from a hooved animal, and it affects different people different ways and stuff, but it's like very, very life-changing because it just forces you into this whole other different way of eating. And so
we are what we eat.
True. It's an interesting thing. I mean, I'm sure we could zoom out and get real philosophical on a lot of this stuff. And I know I've got some thoughts on some things because of my fast that we might chit chat about here in a little bit if it comes up. But but if you get bit by a tick, though, like, the biggest thing, it's you can't get sick from it crawling on you, right? So if you just see it crawling on you, don't freak out. Just dust it off or whatever. Like, just flick it off. You're not gonna get any kind of disease just by it crawling on you. It's just if it actually attaches to you. And so what you're gonna want to do whenever that happens is you're gonna want to grab the tick. Actually, if you can, if it's big enough, you can grab it by its mouth parts, because you want to be able to get the whole thing out. And if you can use tweezers, that's recommended, instead of using your fingernails, because our fingernails have grimy stuff in them and it doesn't help, right?
Yeah.
It says and this is some information I'm pulling from their website, being patient, because their mouth part is covered with barbs. So sometimes it can be a little bit difficult to get those little suckers out of there. Pull steady without twisting until you can ease the tick head straight out of the skin. This is a fun episode.
Just make the sucker go on a fast.
There we go. So he just goes on to explain a lot of things. I'm not going to read all of this, but you guys get the idea. Get it out as quickly as possible. Once you've got it out, wash the wound site, soap and water, rubbing alcohol, antiseptic, whatever. Just make sure to clean it very well. You can go get a tick test too, early on. It strongly, positive tests can be misleading, it says. So don't freak out even if you get a positive one, apparently. So yeah, Bruce, I'll go ahead and toss this website address in the notes of the show, but it is good information to have, especially if you live in the Ozarks. Okay.
Yeah.
So those of you that are in all the other really cool places, Colorado and California, and do they have ticks in California? I don't think they do. I think the Ozarks are one of the I know they do a little bit in the east, up in the east because of the deer.
Yeah.
But I just hear of so many people coming into this. Well, Arizona and those places, they don't have them. New Mexico, they didn't have them in Peru. So here's a fun little fact. Like, I'm literally in the middle of the jungle, the Amazon jungle, and our shaman, we had a couple of shamans there with us, and one of them, the one that trained the other one, Don Jose, we're sitting in a circle and we're talking about like things to watch out for, like, help me, like, do I need to look out for ticks? Do I need to look out for things like poison ivy? And help me, right? And he, of course, was being translated because he doesn't speak English, and so he speaks Spanish, and Jacqueline was translating for him, and she was describing, and you could see his face, and he was holding his hands and gesturing with these between his fingers and pinching, and he's like, we don't have these little ticks, and poison ivy, like, so you can literally go into the middle of the Amazon jungle and not deal with the bullshit that we deal with here in the middle of the Ozarks.
Why would that be?
I don't know. Maybe because there's not a lot of deer in...
Maybe it's an established jungle and the critters take care of...
That's it. Yeah. I'm trying to think if there are deer. Not really any kind of animal like that. I mean, they would die from the jaguar would get them.
No, what I was referring to is birds.
Oh, eat
things
them.
like eat them.
Yeah.
So it keeps the population down. Where here we don't have anything really other than chickens.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, bats. Well, no, they don't get
bats
ticks.
Don't. No.
Huh. There you go, guys. There's a research project for a young student listening to the podcast today.
There you go.
Why in the world are the ticks so bad in Southwest Missouri,
or you could
Northern
write a paper
Arkansas,
on that.
Ozarks? But yeah, no, there's a lot of things that you can do, but most importantly, what are the symptoms to watch for? Like, not feeling good, fever.
Not feeling good, got a fever.
Feels like flu, but it's like heavy duty flu.
Feel like a flu.
Yeah. Okay.
Feels just like a flu. And this isn't the flu season.
Yeah.
July.
Yeah. And just go straight to the ER. Let them know you were bit by a tick. Please order a tick panel and give me doxycycline.
Yeah.
That's what you need to say, because if your medical staff is not trained to say that, then they need to be. So.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
Gosh. Wow, life is incredible.
It is. It's very incredible.
I'm glad to see you doing so well, and that you had a really exciting report at the doctor's office recently. So
yes.
For those who have been listening to us since the beginning and catching all the episodes, you were in the hospital.
I had a cardiac or a congestive heart failure. Yeah. And the congestive heart failure damaged my heart to the point that I had a EF of 15. An EF is basically the efficiency of your heart, and it was a 15, and even whenever I had the tick bite, it was 15. And now it's been 2 months, and I just had my EF checked, and it's 41, so it jumped from 15 to 41.
Yes.
So that's exciting for me, because that's almost normal.
Mm-hmm. For your age.
For my age.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, strong heart, strong mind.
Strong spirit.
Strong spirit. You've got another idea for the next chapter after this one.
Mm-hmm.
What else would you like to talk with folks about, our listeners who are tuning in today? It doesn't necessarily need to be about the tick bite, but maybe about your when we have things that happen to us, they change us. It's like one of the things that you always say is, I'm not the same person yesterday as I am today. I mean, we're different every day. What would you like to add to all of the things that have been said today?
I would like for everybody to stop and think about how great you have it. If you look at where we are in America, and if you look at the opportunities we have, just know that everything's right. I have a spirit that drives me, and I listen to that spirit. And I think that that's the biggest thing people need to do is whenever they hear that spirit, pursue the spirit. It's what takes you from the 3D world to the 5D world and beyond.
Yeah. Do you think in that context, because I know we've previously, said in the same episode, well, there is no, good, bad, right, wrong. So do you think maybe right in that context could be aligned? Being aligned with what your when you say spirit, maybe, that conversation, that voice that comes from within, right? That intuition, if you will.
Yes.
You feel like that maybe could be used like alignment. You're aligned with your higher calling and what it's asking of you.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. It pulls me.
Yeah.
You can't, if you take a look at a wet noodle, you can't push a wet noodle, but you can pull it. And that's what the spirit inside of you, that intuition, the Holy Spirit, call it what you want to call it, the direction that it's trying to take you, let it pull you. Let it pull you. Don't fight it. When you push back on it, it doesn't go anywhere. And I found that if you listen to the Spirit and act on it immediately, things happen in your life that you're going to love. Yeah. You're going to love it. Yeah. Because it's going to be what you see that you experience in life.
You're talking about following Spirit's guidance. As you know, I've gone without a meal for almost, in 3 hours, it'll be 8 days.
8 days.
8 days.
8 days not eating anything.
Not eating anything. And I didn't plan to do that. I didn't plan to do this like this, but I was led by this voice inside of me that said, when I awoke Tuesday morning, and I was having a cup of cacao. So if people want to argue calories, it's been since Tuesday morning, so it's been like 7.5 days. But it was maybe, I think Mama Cacao Spirit had something to say with that too. I think it was coming from my heart, and my heart was listening to my body, and my body was saying, please give me a break. Give me a break. And that's a whole other story and why it needed a break in and of itself. So, but yeah, like I just stopped. It's like, I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm not going to eat for a while.
You acted on your intuition.
I acted on it. That's the thing. It's like, that's that gray
and how
area.
You feel now?
Oh my God. It has been a total transformation. It's something, as you know, things are happening organically from it. As you mentioned earlier, things start happening, and they are. And, we're hosting it turns out one of my dear friends, Shanti, is a kind of an expert in this. And she's led circles for fasters for a long time, and back in Thailand. And So we are going to circle up tonight and talk about it all as a group. I've got
That's
some
gonna be
exciting
exciting.
people, people that are excited to sit and ask all the questions. And she does it from a holistic spiritual approach, and a very much of an approach from where I'm coming from, which is just listen to your damn body.
Yeah.
I, as a therapist, what I do with my massage and with my fascia work and my awareness coaching and my cacao, work, it's like the whole underlying message of it is to encourage people to listen to their bodies.
Yeah.
And allow your body to tell you what to do. And that's what this has been. And so I've just allowed my body to guide me through this process. And if I feel, I've been telling myself every morning when I wake up, like, okay, is today the day that I'm going to start incorporating some bone broth, like a little extra bone broth, and then maybe move into a smoothie and start incorporating food again? Or am I going to keep riding this wave? Because damn, I feel clean, I feel clear, I feel a lot of energy, I feel a direct line connection to source. Like it is just, flowing into my crown chakra information, and I am productive. You would be so surprised how much time,
Clarity.
well, and how much time and money we spend on food in our society, in our country. And I plan to do some research around it. That's also, there's been a lot of things that this has inspired me to do and dabble into looking into. But overall, it's been a magical, transformative experience and a spiritual experience. And every day I'm just letting my body guide me and tell me what she needs. And it's been a beautiful way to really understand true awareness when it comes to the body.
Sounds good.
Yeah. We'll have to dig into that a little bit more in an episode later, possibly with Shanti. I think
Sounds
that would be
good.
fun.
Yeah, that would be.
Yeah. So I don't know how long we've been talking, but I feel like we probably would need to wrap up, huh?
It's starting to look like it.
Okay. Well, let's throw it out there. We're going to be doing another episode here probably in a week or so. And, you're going to just kind of bring full circle on your experience from, what you have, what your take is, and what you could share with others, and maybe some resources and all kinds of maybe some tips from the pro of dealing with, navigating, and accepting and allowing this transition that we're all going through.
We are.
Which is a transition from a 3D reality, a 3D realm, to a 5D. And so it's really just a shift of a paradigm. It's a shift of a turn on the dial of the radio frequency, if you will, tuning into a different frequency.
That's a good analogy.
And so we're going to dig into that a little bit more on our next episode. So, but until then, thanks for tuning in again, you guys.
Thank you.
It's been a while. It was nice to get back behind the microphone. I might have to start doing more of this. All right. Talk to you guys later.